The modern information sphere is drowning in lies because not because people want to be deceived, but because it is drowning because of the scale of discourse that has outpaced the scale of verification that we have right now. Every second, millions of political claims are made online by a lot of propagandas by different sects. Each one is a potential epistemic contagion that we have right now. Few floating responses. I already actually preempted the arguments coming from ops. It's kind of stock case, right? First, on social media companies misconstruing biases in data in their data sets when they're training these AIs. First, if there are false evaluation done by these AI fact checkers, it can only be done either through A, hallucination of this AI, B, false claim engraved in their data sets. In the first one, it can easily be fixed by human moderators in the social media platforms, also checking if their models are having hallucinations whenever it's reported. And since a bad AI in public is also a bad image for their company, they're incentivized to fix this. Second, on the second one, once it's visible in the public, that social media companies are misconstruing data sets on this AI chatbot or fact checkers based on their mode of responses, since you can clearly see it out based on the average response that it gives. Do you even realize how easy it is to sue these corporations? It's not just OpenAI and CCP utilizing this. You literally have, it's not in 1 minute. These are social media companies who have local agencies in each countries which are suable by each specific states. Like, for example, how Philippines sued Facebook back then because they have an agency here in our state. But this is the flip then. Again, none of this will be visible absent the rise. Since people don't care about this, without the rise, without scrutiny, these companies can just simply do all of the harms that you have mentioned, but the difference is it's going to be placed in shadow, just like what happened back then when there's no response mechanism from ChatGPT to just like dislike a specific response or just create some notes that this is a fake response or this is a form of hallucination. What we defend today is the next evolutionary layer of democratic discourse, an algorithmic agent that do not censor speech but cohabit it, intervening the very moment falsehood enters the bloodstream of conversation. Three pushes in the speech. First, why it has to lead to the rise. Second, why the lens of political discussion will improve in the long run. And third, why this leads to a better filter system. First, I just want to add something in Joseph's substantive about the rise that Ops simply misses out. Right now, within the status quo, you can see Grok AI in X or Twitter literally cleaning out disingenuous discourse provided by either left-wingers or right-wingers. And funny enough, even Elon Musk, because, if they do have a bad optics within this kind of technology that they have as a company, it's going to be a bad image since it's visible for everyone. It's social media, it's public forum. It's not like a hidden area when you do your simple chat with ChatGPT. This simply ought to push out that AI fact checkers must have the capacity to stay within the proper line in polarizing discussions that we have. Okay, I'll take the POI.
The information or the misinformation is probably going to look only like small biases within information which trickles down, which means it's not that easy to identify.
The problem is they are already incentivized to have a fair ground. Like, for example, even if China's chatbot is, scared to bring out data about this, about specific issues that target CCP, they're still incentivized to have a good image to just simply say that I am not allowed to do this, rather than just simply misconstruing their data. Because again, it's a bad optic for them. A lot of people will have lesser credibility on these AI chatbots since companies are actually backing this up based on their credibility, because that's literally the selling point of this technology. Simply, the question of this debate is whether we should have a general consensus that its integration in forums in large width is actually necessary or not. Joseph already proved to you why the rise is necessary in itself. I'm going to expand its beneficiary for the people to jump onto this rather than neglect it. I'm going to do it in 2 areas. A, this looks like society is indulging themselves within the veracity and adequacy of it, which means that, unlike reckless support that we did with the rise of ChatGPT and other AI chatbots in general, since people in the status quo has more knowledge as to what happened within the past, right now, people are actually providing feedbacks from these AI chatbots as they develop. E.g., providing additional notes, or the fact that they can assess mass dislike like a false within a false claim of it, just like what's happening right now in Grok AI. B, more people using it, owing to the fact that the rise itself gives knowledge to the people at large that this line of technology exists. E.g., mentioning Grok in pernicious tweets from conservatives that vaccines are scams and cause thousands of deaths in order for it to be easily fact-checked with objective data. And as you can see in many situations, people who literally argues with AI chatbots are somehow ineffective in misconstruing the political discussion. Because one, they look like a hobo using emotional fallacy to an LLM that only cares about objective data sets. Two, the responses from this bot actually cites verifiable resources, which lessens the usual annoying backsliding that people do when they argue online, e.g., the shuns of some pesky conspiracy onks who always states, give me the link proving why the moon landing was real or else you're just simply lying. So the problem coming from side opposition with their claim that, they might cite some resources, but they're actually going to ignore this. The problem is a lot of people are incentivized to be in heat in this argumentation, in their argumentation political discussion, to the point that they're still going to view those resources at the end of the day. It's literally linked. Already, this fixes a great problem in our status quo, the prolongation of misinformation, lurking for those moderates or people reading from these forums or not that engaged in political discourses, which makes them easy to be indoctrinated by false ideologies because of the fact that they aren't as involved in politics. Therefore, it's easy for them to get persuaded by sensationalizing claims online. And this is the exclusive solvency that you get from us. How? By actually supporting these bots, you make their visibility higher in these platforms. Like in X, for example, when people like a reply from Grok roasting a misinformed homophobic individual, it gets placed to the top of the forum rather than in up, you have the technology, but since you don't support it, it still exists in both sides of the house, by the way. This is a rise debate. It will probably get shitted on by both sides. On one side, because they disagree with the fact check that it has given. And the other side, because, it's AI and people hate AI. But the difference is, at the end of the day, corporates can just put more attention to AI art absent the rise. I think this debate doesn't control that conversation at the end of the day. So why does it need to be AI? First, on face, simply human fact checkers exist. The problem is, with the tons of posts arising, it's easy for them to get outnumbered by false propaganda. Here's the kicker. Even bad faith actors are using AI right now to flood false propaganda. Therefore, this leads to an adversary for the systems, a respondent that kills bad side of AI uprising that we have within the thread of AI. And second, on credibility, human fact checkers can literally have someone to argue for them rather than just citing a site that people might not read at the end of the day because, they disagree with this one. And I am proud to propose.